Hello, my darlings. It's still the 8th of August. Look at the state of me. I'm getting more and more tired as the day goes on. I'm more and more frazzled. Oh, wow. Which brings me to today's subject of motherhood. Oh, not a job to be taken lightly. It's the most important job as a female that you will ever do in your entire life. It is absolutely exhausting. I have just put the fourth 10-kilo load into the washing machine with a colour catcher just to catch anything that might not be colour fast, which is what I've done with these rather fabulous t-shirts that have come from the university. Aren't they fantastic t-shirts? Yeah. You're part of the university set when you're wearing the university clothing. The hoodies are next door, drying in the utility room, scullery, call it what you want. It's the place where the laundry gets done. Ah, I tell you, the one thing I am so grateful for in this entire house has got to be having a laundry room. Oh boy, is that a game changer in the way a house is run. No longer do we have a washing machine in the kitchen. It's downstairs, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's next door to the downstairs loo, and then the office is directly to the other side, which is where I'm sitting now. And where we have the overspill of food from the food room, which happens to be that way, and holds everything that this family needs, from power tools to food to the fridges and the freezers and equipment that we need, camping equipment, gardening equipment, building equipment, a business equipment, all out of sight, all out of mind. Perfect. Ah, gosh, what a flipping long day it has been today. It's a 4 a.m. start. It is now 3:05. I haven't even thought about doing dinner yet, but I just thought I'd take a hot minute, come in and sit in and talk to you about motherhood. Wow. Absolutely. I have worked some days. Excuse me. That's a bit better, a bit cleaner. Thought it looked a bit smudgy. I have. I have been on the go since 4 this morning, and there have been days where I have been up and moving and going for it from midnight right till midnight. And those days, thank goodness, I don't do them that often now. If I did, I wouldn't be sat here. I'd be 6 foot under. I would be so tired. Oh my goodness, I don't ever regret becoming a mother. I think of all the things that I've done in my life, that has got to be my greatest achievement, is raising two beautiful, strong-willed, strong-minded versions of myself. Sarcasm runs in this family. Insanity runs in some families, but sarcasm runs in mine. Play a bit of the insanity as well. But oh boy, motherhood, not to be taken lightly. From the moment I had them with my first rather painful experience, 26 stitches, lots of blood loss, preeclampsia, very poorly lady, very poorly baby. So much so that she never latched. But hey, she's rocking it as a nurse, a children's nurse, no less, pediatric nurse. That's the word I'm looking for. God, I tell you, as I'm getting older, this is slowing down sometimes. Imagine it could be the fact that I'm woolly minded because I'm so tired. My second daughter wanted to outdo her sister, and I had her. Wow, she was a month early. She was a big baby. She's almost an 8 pounder on a month early. So you can imagine how big she'd have been if she'd gone full term. Ow, ow, ow. And I'm lucky I had epidurals with both of them. But my second baby, my second daughter, when she came out, she dislocated my hip on my right hand side. And I remember the midwife saying, it's okay, we can manage this, we can do this. And your next contraction, when you push, I'll push your leg back in. And that's pain, man. And I'd had an epidural. I was on gas and air as well. And I'd had pethidine. You imagine, I was going, or words to that effect. Yeah, I had symphysis pubis with my second daughter, as well as preeclampsia. So I'm very lucky that I had them in hospital, and I was so well taken care of. I wouldn't recommend what I've been through to anybody. I really, really wouldn't. Sorry, I'm just going to have to get a drink of water. Oh, look me. Keep a stash of water in here. Well, you never know. Everything happens to Yorkshire water. Gets turned off in our area, whatever. And we've always got emergency backup water, which I think is just one of the most fabulous things that you could ever have. Absolutely adore fresh water. Well, as fresh as you can get when it's in a plastic bottle. So yeah, that was my foray into motherhood. My first daughter, so nearly ripped me apart, and the second daughter finished up what the first one started. You can understand why we stopped at 2. Giving birth is not easy. Giving birth is, I can see why they call it a labour. Because I was 2 days with my first and almost a full 24 hours. Not quite a full day with my second, but yeah. And both, um, my first she was 42 weeks, so she was 2 weeks over, and my second was 38 weeks. Yeah, but no, 36 weeks. 36 weeks. She just decided that that was when she'd cooked, and that's when she wanted to come out. And she's 21 next year, is the youngest, and the eldest will be 23. So, ooh, where's the time gone, man? Yeah, you will never, from the moment you decide that you're going to become a mother, you will never have another minute to yourself until the little darlings decide that they've had enough of living at home and they're going to go out into the big wide world and make a life for themselves. Mm. And then you have to look forward to being a grandma, or as I'm going to be, a glamma, or as I've learned, the North Koreans call their grandmas hominies. So I'm going to be a hominy because I think that that is so lovely. It means wise old lady or wise woman or something. Anyway, They're the wise nannies. And I'd like to think I'm going to be a wise nanny, but hey, I'm not ready to be a nana just yet. I'm, I'm only in my late 40s and my daughters are nowhere near prepared to have children of their own at this moment in time. They're too busy living their lives themselves. And I salute that. Yeah, I honestly, your 20s are for you. Finding out who you are, getting your education, making sure you living your life for you, having, all the adventures, and do it while you're young and do it while you're free, because when you're tied down and you've got a mortgage and you've got bills, because Bill always wants paying every month, believe it or not. But you've got all the responsibilities, and you're holding down a job and people are relying on you, and you're gonna meet someone probably and end up, dating them and then becoming their partner, and later on down the line you're gonna end up getting married, and it's not gonna be too long after that you're gonna probably have children of your own. So, but that's for later. Your 20s are for finishing the university that you started. Get your education, boys and girls, because that's what that's there for. All right? You go off, you do your adventures, you have a good time. Don't hurt yourselves. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad, right? Also, don't drink to the point where your liver packs up, because you're not going to like that later in life. It's just going to it's not going to suit you. It's not going to be good for you. It's have a good time. Your 20s for living, right? Finishing your education, get out there, see the world, have a good time, do the adventurous stuff, and then, eventually meet your partner and settle down and start adulting. You don't have to adult until, you know, you've done your milestones, right? Gosh, I was in my 20s and I wasn't even thinking about having kids. Mm-mm. But now I'm nearly 50 and my kids are growing up and leaving home. Oh, eventually. Eventually they're going to grow up and leave home. But the way things are in this country at the moment, I'd rather have them living here. At least I know that they're safe. Oh my God. I don't know what the UK is doing at the moment, but woohoo. I don't think it were ever this bad when I were in my 20s growing up. So, like, what did the Chinese once say to us? May you live in interesting times. Well, they weren't kidding. Hmm. Oh, my throat feels a bit bad now. Yeah, they do say, well, you live in interesting times, and my goodness me, aren't we just? Aren't we just? No. I, I love my girls. I wouldn't, change them for the world. I don't regret having them. Had them at the right time for me. And my husband's a lot older than me by about 15 years. So he was 40 when our first daughter was born. And I was 26 when she was born, you know? So my early 20s were for me. Yeah, I had a great time. And then I met my husband, and at the age of 25 we got married, and then at the age of 26 I had my baby. Yeah. And then I had my other one 18 months later, when I was just about 27. I was almost 28 when I had my second. And I don't regret 1 minute of my life having the children. I don't regret getting married. and running my own business and everything else. I've had a good life. I've had a good run. And I like the fact that my daughters have put their education first, like I did. And the thought about who they want to be before they become wives and mothers. They want to go out and be their own person and be that person without the influence of a partner. Because, as I've always said, how can you possibly be a good partner to your partner if you haven't had any life experience? And how can you possibly be a good parent if you haven't lived before parenthood? Because if you just, what I'm basically trying to say is if you get married too young, if you're eight, it might work out for some 18-year-olds, but in my opinion, you haven't had enough life experience to settle down and get married at 18. You don't know who you are. So how do you know how you're going to be being married and then raising a child when you're still a child yourself? See where I'm coming from? You need that lived experience. You need to have visited that country. You need to travel. You need to broaden your horizons. You need to read. You need to work out what books you enjoy. You need to work out what music you enjoy. You know, what kind of foods are your favorite things? How do you like to dress? How do you want to wear your hair? You want to work out all those things for you. You don't want to have to suddenly be pleasing a partner and not knowing who you are. You've a long time being a mom and being a wife, and you don't have a long time being you and young and experimenting and taking your time to work out what it is that you want. Some people never want to settle and they never want to have children, and that's okay too. You know, it's not your mission in life if you don't want it to settle down and be married and have kids. Each person is different, and to try and pigeonhole yourself into something that you're not completely confident and sure about, that's a sure way to end up being very unhappy and having a lot of anxiety and issues as you're getting older, and it can lead to the breakdown of marriages, and it can lead to divorce, you know. Mm. I'll be brutally honest. My parents, who are divorced, excuse me, I think the biggest mistake that they made was having me. I'm here now. I can't exactly disappear, but it certainly changed the way that I viewed parenthood and motherhood. Yeah, and being a wife. It made me really, really think about what I wanted for me and what was going to make me happy. Unfortunately, I met a really nice guy who I fell madly in love with, and we both of us share the same values, which helps. I always joke, the couple that slay together stay together. Remember, these things on your fingers are the world's smallest handcuffs. Choose your cellmate wisely. Yeah. Yeah. I I honestly, I think my parents' divorce was a great big um sort of wake up for me as to work out what I wanted. Had I think had my parents actually been brutally honest with each other, they wouldn't have got married, and they certainly wouldn't have had a second child. Or a first for that matter. But times were different back then. We were just at the beginning of the 70s, 1976. You know, poo I arrived on the planet, good or bad, I'm here. You know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, nor do I want to be anybody's cup of tea. You know, what you see is what you get. I have that personality that can, what's the word? I don't give a, yeah, I don't. I really don't. If you like me, you like me. If you hate me, you hate me. That's your issue, not mine. But it's all these things that have shaped who I am. You know, motherhood has shaped me. It's taught me things that I never even thought I could be possible, for me to do. It has given me a greater capacity for compassion and love that I never thought I would ever feel. And yet, here I am, rocking it. I have learned patience. Oh boy, motherhood's taught me patience. It has taught me tolerance. It has taught me so much time to reflect. Sometimes when you have a bad day, when I was in my 20s, I could stomp around and I'd be really cross about it. And I'd worry about the little things in life sometimes. Believe me, when you become a parent, you things just roll off you, right? It's bad the badness comes at you and you deflect it, it rolls off you, because suddenly it's not important anymore. Material possessions, they're just not important. you know you know what is important? The fact that all four of you, well, all five, because we have to include Monty, don't we? Yes, because he's our little boy and he'd be lost without us. But if all five of us are alive and all five of us are healthy and we have what we need, we have everything we need. We've got each other. And that's something that you don't know or necessarily understand before you're a parent, but once you become a parent and that responsibility is there and you are holding on to your child and you're looking down at your child, and at that moment your heart belongs to them, and you will do anything and everything to ensure that your child is cared for in every way possible. And having material things and it's just not important, you know. What is important is that child, and making sure that that child gets to adulthood. I'm considering my luck with houseplants. My girls are incredibly lucky because I am not a green fingered person. Every plant I touch dies. There's only an exception to that, the giant tree in the garden. And the only reason I think that's alive is because of all the dead pets that are buried underneath it. Oh dear me. hmm I probably find the tree's called Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors and he's yelling, feed me now. Oh, I'll just have to wait until I've had another dead pet. Tree goes, why wait until it's dead? Oh dear me. I have just got that most weird sense of humour today. I think it's because I've had 2 coffees, a cup of tea, and I'm running on sarcasm and sugar. I don't think I'll be late out of bed tonight, put it that way. Yeah. So, my darlings, if you're thinking about getting married and having children, first of all, work out who you are. Live your life for you. Have experiences. Go out and see the world. Take what it has to offer. Don't be mean. Don't be nasty. Be excellent to each other. Yeah, Bill and Ted. I live by that mantra. Be excellent. And eventually, you will find your very own partner. And you will love and you will cherish each other. And one day you'll want to create a supreme being, a mini version of yourself. And then you will spend the rest of your life wondering, am I doing a good job? Am I okay? Am I a good parent? Trust me, my darlings, if your children grow up healthy, well educated, and experiencing life for what it is, and they get through and manage to find a partner and eventually, if that's what they want and they have children, you haven't done a bad job. You've done the very best you could and you're doing all right. Take that from me, the woman who suffers from anxiety of, am I a good enough parent? You know what? I am a good enough parent. I love my girls and I would do anything for them. And I love my husband. And I love Monty. And I'm incredibly tired. And I'm going to go and prepare dinner now. So I will love you and leave you with a very wise man's saying. The great late John Lennon. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. And he was a very wise man indeed. Take care, my darlings, and I will probably catch up with you tomorrow or on Saturday.